For Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, I'm Megan van Wijngaard. Today in studio, Kibo Mining CEO Louis Coetzee joins us to discuss the Mbeya coal-to-power project in Tanzania. Welcome, Louis.
Thank you.
Louis, in June, the company reported that it would significantly increase the pace of its feasibility study to complete it by October. How is this progressing?
Well, we're still on track. We've just released the pre-feasibility results a little bit ahead of schedule about 2 weeks ago. And we're still on track to deliver the bankable or the feasibility, definitive feasibility towards the end of this year. In other words, by end of October, beginning of November.
And then is the project still within budget?
Well, we're still well within budget. At this moment, we have recorded a few savings, especially on the feasibility side or on the mining feasibility side. So we're well within budget still.
Has Kibo chosen its construction providers and operators as yet?
Not yet. We will do that as soon as we are in the process where we actually solicit funding, and during the process where we make sure of the exact funding requirements that we have. And in that process, we will also solicit bids from appropriate contractors and further development partners. So we haven't made a final decision in that regard yet.
So where do you think the bidding will come from? Which companies?
Well, if I look at my inbox every day, I think it'll come from pretty much all over the world.
Yeah.
But our whole intention at the moment is to see if we can make use of as much local suppliers as possible. And local, I mean within Tanzania and also within South Africa or within the Southern Africa Development Community. That would be our preference.
And you are looking to identify a financing structure for MCPP construction. What route are you likely to take?
That's also a little bit early at the moment. We're working very closely with our financial advisors, with Standard Bank on this. They are in the behind the scenes working on this, but it will be a typical debt equity financing where we will be looking at gearing the project in terms of debt and equity. At the moment, it seems that we will be able to do it on a 75-25 basis.
Who are your main shareholders and what are their views on the project?
Well, Kibo is a company that's got a very diverse shareholding base. We don't have any single big block of shareholders or anybody that has a controlling interest or anything like that. It's a typical retail shareholder base at the moment with some institutional investors at the moment. If you look at the company's track record over the last 2 to 3 years and in a very difficult market from a resources perspective, and the fact that we were able to continue to raise money and continue to get support from our shareholders, particularly in the last couple of months, if you look at our share performance, so how our share price performed, then I would dare to say that we have really good support from our shareholders, and all of them have been there for a very long time.
So if push comes to shove and extra funding is needed, they will definitely have your back?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. What is the regulatory environment in Tanzania like?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about particularly with regard to independent power producers, then it's a very progressive regulatory environment. It's an environment that took a lot of proactive steps to accommodate independent power producers, and it is also very friendly towards foreign investment or foreign direct investment, not only within this particular sector, but also in the resources sector in general. So it's a very competent, very progressive environment, well aligned with what you see in international standards, and quite an easy environment to work in.
So it's not at all under pressure from the surrounding countries at the moment? I know there's some terrorism going on in northern Africa.
Well, Tanzania has demonstrated itself as a fiercely independent country since '64 when it first got independence, and it's stayed like that. And it's still one of the only countries, in fact, one of the only 2 countries that I know about in Africa that still has a zero political risk rating from both the IMF and the World Bank.
Will the Mbeya coal-to-power project only supply Tanzania, or will it perhaps sign some deals to go cross-border?
Well, the potential is certainly there, and we also get a lot of encouragement from the government to develop this project with a view of exporting power on the medium to long term. The immediate power deficit in Tanzania is, however, of such a nature that what we will be producing on the short term will all go towards satisfying local or domestic demand. but there's definitely the potential and definitely the ability to export over the medium to long term, and that is definitely part of the planning.
And do you have any offtake deals or agreements that are happening at the moment?
Well, that's part of this negotiation that's ongoing
Okay.
at the moment. We are in discussion with the various government institutions in Tanzania, amongst that the national utility, in terms of power purchase agreements, and also with potential private off-takers as well.
In South Africa, electricity is sold at 30.5 cents a kilowatt hour. What is it like in Tanzania?
Well, it's much more expensive than that, and it's a little bit difficult in Tanzania because there are varied rates, but it can be anything from 18 cents US cents to 35 US cents per kilowatt hour. So it's significantly more expensive than South Africa, and the project that we're working on will come in well below the existing going rate.
What do you think it will be?
That's something that we are not discussing at this point in time. There's still too much work that we have to do on that, so it would be premature to make a statement, but we know that it's going to be a very competitive rate.
What is your next step?
To complete the feasibilities and to finish financial closing.
Okay.
We hope if there are no unforeseen delays or obstacles that prevent us from doing that, to complete the feasibility work by end of this year, both on the mining as well as on the power side, to get into the financial closure process during the first quarter of next year, hopefully complete that during that period of time, and to start construction towards the second part of next year, with the first power into the grid in the first quarter of 2019.
Will you do any other power projects in the near future?
Well, I think we've got our plate full on this one at the moment, but certainly, I mean, the energy sector in the whole of Southern Africa is a very vibrant sector. It seems to be it seems to have no limit at this point in time. So definitely, we would be looking at getting into other projects as well.
That was Louis Coetzee from Kibo Mining.